I waited, he was going to get too far ahead and there'd be no catching him, so I was riding as hard as I could, trying to get around the guys. I was moving up and I had trouble getting around Stanton. And then by the time I did, my arms started pumping up a little bit because I was pushing so hard, and I started making some mistakes, so I just slowed down instead of crashing and settled back a little bit.
In the early going of the 1993 Supercross season, the veteran riders, those that were considered championship contenders, seemed to be unconcerned by Jeremy's performance. By their own admission, they felt the key to the championship was consistency in the early rounds. They expected Jeremy, or maybe Brian Swink, to win a race or two. What they didn't expect was a rookie to dominate. And while they were watching each other, that's exactly what McGrath was doing. His lightning-fast reflexes had put him at the head of the pack at every race. Once there, he waited for no one. While the field behind him was riding on the cautious side and sorting out positions, McGrath was giving 110%. When the positions behind him were finally sorted out, McGrath was way out front with a huge lead. To catch Jeremy McGrath at that point was to invite disaster. Riders had to ride totally on the ragged edge. Riders had to take chances. That's what they did. Jeff Stanton paid the price. Last lap, and it's showtime. Jeremy McGrath was doing what he does best, entertaining the crowd and winning races. From Southern California, the tour moved east back to the Sunshine State. The media wondered if Jeremy's Western success would be continued or if he was a flash in the pan and his winning ways would be left in California. The veterans were also wondering. They knew Jeremy had talent. They knew he could win. What they didn't know was whether or not the first-year rider would hold up under pressure. In past years, rookies had started strong only to fade as the season wore on. The limelight from leading any championship series is both gratifying and difficult. The more a rider wins, the less time he has to prepare. His mind is drawn away from upcoming events. Instead, he concerns himself with success of the present. Jeremy was convinced the situation was under control. He was well aware of past rookie performances and promised himself and those close to him he would avoid the instant success trap and maintain his cool. His formula was simple: keep on keeping on. In other words, approach each race as he had approached those in the early part of the season. Take it one race at a time and let the chips fall. So far, that formula had led to what was shaping up to be a great series in anyone's book. For a rookie, the success he was enjoying was astounding. The win in San Diego had brought his streak to 3 in a row. In the history of Supercross, no rookie had ever accomplished that feat. The old rookie record was 2 in a row set by Damon Bradshaw in the 1990 Supercross season. That same year, 1990, Bradshaw set the all-time win mark for first-year riders. He captured the checkered flag 5 times. With 11 races to go, including Tampa, that record too was in danger of falling to McGrath. At the Tampa venue, McGrath was chased in the early going by his teammate Jeff Stanton. You can only speculate what was running through Stanton's mind. The defending Supercross champ had spent the last 3 races chasing McGrath with no success. At Tampa, it was more of the same. He tried a little harder and lost control in a set of whoops where he was passed by Bradshaw and Kiedrowski. The formula for Skip and Jeremy: attack the racetrack. The final lap, and it was showtime. In the season opener, the Florida crowd had watched a cautious and, by his own admission, nervous Jeremy McGrath slide from a front-running position back to 4th. This time around, it was an aggressive Jeremy McGrath. The assault on the record book continued. 4 in a row to set another rookie mark for consecutive wins. The all-time record for consecutive wins, 5 in a row. That record shared by Johnson and Bradshaw.
Four consecutive wins, and reporters began writing, photographers began shooting, and critics began questioning. But Jeremy's confidence began growing as he headed into race number 5. With all the speculation and media coverage, Jeremy's realistic views were like a rock in a whirlpool of rumor and disbelief.
Before Atlanta, I think the week prior to that, there was a weekend, and we had, I don't know, I either got a bad start and Jeremy got a good start. I don't really remember what the circumstances were. I just remember what he said. He said that, Damon Bradshaw didn't work traffic very well, and to my knowledge, I thought it was the opposite. At the time, if Jeremy didn't hole shot, he didn't win.
And you know, so I said, well, to me, he's talking about himself and not, you know, not myself, because I felt like that that I work traffic very well. I have, you know, all through my amateur career, and then even though as a professional. But you know, it added a little adrenaline to it. You know, when I went to Atlanta, I really wanted to win and to show, you know, the people that I could still win. You know, I think at that time Jeremy had already won a couple of races, and you know, and too, it's my hometown. All that helps a lot. You know, you have the people behind you definitely, but you know, things get said, and you know, that's one of the things that motivate me the most, is I like to go to the racetrack and be mad at somebody.
After Anaheim, Jeremy went ahead and strung 4 Supercrosses in a row, and for one reason or another, everybody had an excuse of why he won those races. It wasn't that he was just a great racer. There was always a reason why he won them. It turned out, after 4 in a row, the press and the public, because of the press, were throwing questions at him all the time about, do you think you possibly can keep this thing going? Is it beyond you? Do you think you can survive the pressure? Do you think that the pros, the established stars, are going to get down on you? It was just one thing after another. Nobody really believed that Jeremy was winning these races. There was always an excuse why. And I believe it all came to a head, and Jeremy kind of said maybe it's time to see what can happen here, and he had a bad race. But the best thing about that bad race is he never let it affect him. That took the heat off him, then he could go ahead and start winning again, and that made it all the sweeter.
After Jeremy's 4-win streak in the Supercross series, I was pretty much in astonishment that I thought he could win 1 or 2 events during the year, but now he was on a roll to win every one and pretty much dominate the sport. And I think one thing that was a concern on his part and our part was the amount of pressure he got from the media. It was a new story, it was a new personality, and we had to somewhat talk about and isolate him from some of the newly found fame and how to deal with that and some of the pressures of the press, and that ended up being some of the elements that we had to deal with halfway through the series.
After Jeremy began to win consistently, he began to think of his race program as a preparation program. People talk about luck and good luck. I believe that all good luck comes from good preparation. I think if you have luck, you have bad luck, and that's usually due to lack of preparation. He became very focused, and he knew exactly what he wanted to get accomplished, and he just would not accept being less than what he could be.
Well, basically going into Atlanta, there was a statement made in the Cycle News by Jeremy that kind of gave me a little bit of motivation even to want to win Atlanta even more. And once we got there, everything went really smooth for us, and you know, I was able to win. And I think up until then, Jeremy had won 4 races, but you know, it was a change there, and I'm sure it was, you know, it takes a little bit of the pressure off, but then also you want to go right back to winning.
In Atlanta, things built up pretty big. You know, there was a lot of pressure from the media, and you know, the magazines asking me the same question all the time, and I just didn't get a good start, and I had to catch up from way back to 4th. And track gave me a little trouble. It was pretty ruddy, but I was really relieved not to win Atlanta.
Through it all, McGrath had kept the pressure bottled up. With the Atlanta loss, it was gone. The start had been McGrath's ally all season long, but it was his downfall in Atlanta. McGrath got off the line mid-pack, while his closest rivals took the front-running positions. Damon Bradshaw moved to the lead on lap number 5. Jeff Stanton took over the runner-up spot on lap 9, while Kiedrowski slid into 3rd on lap number 10. Jeremy, meanwhile, worked through the pack to finish in the number 4 position. By the time he got there, the leaders were long gone. The win streak was halted.
After the Atlanta event, we had a break in the series, which allowed us to catch up on a little bit of testing and let Jeremy try a few combinations. But he preferred to stick with the combination that he'd been winning with. He knew that he could win with that, and was very happy with the setting at that time. So we went into Dallas, and he was very confident there. The same attitude that carried him through the first 4 wins took him to win number 5 quite easily at Dallas.
By the time the gate dropped at Dallas, round 9 of the series, Jeremy McGrath had lost 2 in a row. Indianapolis and Daytona, where Mike Kiedrowski captured the first Supercross win in his career. McGrath finished second after leading the Daytona Classic. A strong performance, but for McGrath, not strong enough. McGrath wanted more.
Yeah, in Dallas, I got off to kind of a bad start. Me and Cooper kind of tangled in the first turn, and I kind of made some mistakes, but through the race, I found some good lines, got around some riders fairly quick, and I think the last lap I finally got into second, and that was about as far as I was going to go because McGrath had a pretty good lead by going.
The downhill slide was ended. First-year Honda rider from Murrieta, California was back. Skip Norfolk from the mechanic signal area says it's showtime, and McGrath was headed for the all-time rookie record with his 5th win of the season. Damon Bradshaw's hometown and round 10 of the series. McGrath did not get his usual hole shot. He was close to mid-pack, but his unique riding style paid off.
Jeremy's riding style is really good. He's smooth. You know, it's not that he's lightning fast on a supercross track. He just don't make no mistakes. Everyone else makes 1 or 2 mistakes a lap. And, you know, you add that up over 20 laps, and that puts him 15 seconds ahead.
Jeremy's riding style seems to be real fluid. You know, he seems to work with the bike real well. Him and his mechanic obviously have a good relationship. The bike always seems to work real good, and you know he can make a mistake and go right back to racing. You know that means a whole lot to somebody, especially you know being at a younger age. I think when you have the experience, it helps. You know what to overcome that with. But he's also fast. He seems to adapt to the different tracks a lot better, and I think and also his outdoor seems to be getting a lot better.
Jeremy's riding style to me is a lot like Jean-Michel Bale's. Real fluid. He has the timing dialed in to a perfection.
Jeremy's riding style is a lot different than what everybody else rides. Like he's raced BMX for I don't know how many years, but it seems like you can tell that he uses some of the style of his BMX onto his motorcycle, the way he jumps it, and probably one of the best jumpers out there.
Mike Kudrowski had stayed in the championship hunt through consistency, but in Charlotte, he dropped further off the pace.
In Charlotte, that was kind of a different track too. It was real slippery. The track actually turned out pretty good for the race, but I kind of got off to a little bit of a slow start. I think I was about 6th off the start, and started working my way up, and I think I finished right behind Stanton in third or 4th. So it was an okay race for me.
6 wins for McGrath, and another victory string was underway.
At this point in the season, Jeremy continued to prove that he had what it takes to win. In the eyes of his contemporaries, his winning record began to demand respect. So we thought we'd ask some rival racers and friends about Jeremy as a person or about his riding style. Then we added our own touch to the responses, as if we could read their minds. This is what we came up with. Please note, the comments in the think clouds are all in fun and do not depict the actual thoughts of the interviewee.
Jeremy McGrath is a great guy. I mean, we were on, first year we rode pro in '91. We were on Hondas together, and he won 10 races this year. You know, if he has any reason to be cocky, it's right now, and he's the same guy he was then. So, he's a good guy.
Jeremy McGrath as a person would be real hard for me to define. I don't know Jeremy very well. I think from what I've seen, throughout the year, I think as a person he's pretty good. I think he's not scared to give credit where credit's due. That's the way I've been. And, if someone beats me, I give them credit, as long as I don't feel like it was given to them. And I think that means a lot. I think, to be a professional rider and to be in the light, it takes a whole package,
Jeremy McGrath is a very talented rider in Supercross. He's a very quick starter who gets out front and gets everybody, worried right away. He's gets out there those first few laps and gets a lead on us, and then we have to work that much harder.
Jeremy McGrath as a person is a pretty nice guy on and off the track. Yeah, Jeremy McGrath as a person, he seems like a pretty good guy. He's down to earth, and he's a racer just like all of us, and focuses on the right stuff.